Well, I've finally managed to do it after much shopping round. I've managed to get another fish tank. At the moment, I've got two goldfish in this one, and it's only a 20 litre tank, and they don't look too happy in there. So what I've done is I bought this 3-foot tank. It's quite a big tank. And one thing about transporting these is they're seriously heavy. It must weigh about 50 kilos. So if you're going to bring one of these home, you need at least a van or a big estate car. Or in my case, a shopping trolley from Asda. One thing it doesn't have is, it doesn't have a cover. And you need a cover for a fish tank, and it needs cleaning, but it looks a bit. You do need a cover for these, otherwise you're going to end up with an open cast mine. So this cupboard's going to have to donate its doors. Greenery. This is general idea. It's 2 cupboard doors, or a cupboard door and a half, over tanks to keep dust out. And there's two. You can see there's two gaps in there, and that's going to have some board put in there, and it's going to have some edging round, so at least it'll keep dust out. Right, that's my dust cover finished. It's a bit rudimentary and knock up, but at least it'll keep dust out. That's one thing you do need on a fish tank. You need a cover, and a lot of these massive tanks, 3-foot ones, don't have that cover. So I've had to make one from scratch. As a reminder that if you are picking up one of these tanks, one of these 3-foot tanks, honestly they do weigh a lot. They weigh as much as a person. They don't look heavy, but they really are, because glass is fairly thick. It has to be thick so withstand pressure of hot water. So it's a 2-man job to collect one of these, and it's definitely a transit van job. So next thing I've got to do is clean. So next job is to clean it, because it doesn't look very clean and it's been stood for a while. And one thing about this is you can't use detergents, because it'll contaminate your tank. What you've got to use is water and plenty of elbow grease. Well, fish tank looks fairly clean now. Once again, you can't use detergents on the inside of the tank when you do this job. You can use them on the outside, but not on the inside. Next thing we need to know is how much water this thing holds, because I'm not entirely sure. That's after we put gravel in. Next job is putting gravel in, and like as always, you've always got to wash your gravel thoroughly when you get it, and you need to know exactly how much your tank holds if there's no manufacturer's instructions. So way to do that is I've got a 10 litre bowl here, and it's all governed by how many bowlfuls I can get into it. So all you do is just keep adding buckets or bowlfuls in and count them as you go. Once again with your gravel, just a case of distribute it evenly on bottom of the tank. To do that until you've got about half an inch covering. That's a 3-foot tank. Right, that's the bottom of the tank covered with gravel. Next thing I want to know is how much water this thing actually holds. And the only way we're going to do this is, this bucket holds 10 litres, so it depends how many trips back and forth I need to make with this bucket. There is one thing I forgot to mention here. This thing, when it's full, is probably going to weigh half as much as a mini, so we're talking about a quarter or a third of a ton. So you really need to have a solid floor, and your floor's got to be absolutely solid for this sort of setup, because if you live in a second floor flat you could be in serious trouble with landlord if you put something like this in. So always check that you've got a solid floor first. So finally I've got my answer. I had to make 9 trips with a 10 litre bucket to fill this, so obviously that's 90 litres. I'm not sure how that translates into gallons. Yeah, I think you're roughly talking about 4 or 5 gallons in this. And next thing we've got to do is work out how much chlorine stuff to put. After you've added water, what you need to do next is add a chlorinator to get rid of all chlorine. That's this stuff, and it's about 2 capfuls for a 90 litre tank like this. You also need to cycle your tank. Add this stuff about 1.5 capfuls or something. On a tank as big as this, I think that chemicals would take about 10 days to work through to this amount of water, so to be on the safe side you need to leave a big setup like this for about 10 days before you put your fish in. And as with these two, they always swim together, and bearing in mind that fact with these two fish, this big setup can't be planted for a while. All plants have got to be added gradually, so it's got to be a more or less naked setup for these two fish, because I've noticed that when they lose sight of each other they start panicking, so they're really going to get worked up in this big tank if I start planting it out too early. So you want to add your plants and stuff gradually in that sort of situation. And next thing we need is something like an Aqua 100 filter, or maybe 2 Aqua 50s will do it, I don't know. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.